Hey everyone, this is Kate Otten, tight end at the University of Washington, and you're listening to the FLOGcast Network.
Because you had a bad day, you take everyone down, you sing the same song just to turn it around. You said you
Hello, welcome back. Yes, to the FLOGcast Network. Jay Ruff in the house today. Glorious day. Glorious Tuesday morning here. Now, it's not that pretty outside here in the great city, town of Winnemac, but it is glorious when you wake up in the morning, you see your team's on top. It doesn't matter what the score is, if you're up by 100 or if you're up by 0.2. It's a beautiful day, and that's why I feel the way that I feel. I'll go over that in a second. Today, I'm joined by Mr. Skinley McKinley. How's it going, Skin?
It's going well.
Glorious
Happy
day
to-
for you as well.
Yes, it is. I mean,
yes.
wasn't a great showing, but still got the dub.
Still got the dub. Now, you listen to the show. We mix up the intro some days here and there. Today was a bad day. I think it was that's an oldie by Daniel Powder, but that was for our producer who had a bad day actually had a bad week, but certainly yesterday had a bad day. If you own Mike Boone, you are not happy whatsoever. And Q had Mike Boone. He needed what? What was that? 1.3 fantasy points. You are not. I don't know. We don't see it. You need 1.3 fantasy points, and he gave him a 0.9. So Skin, he ended up losing, and of course I'm happy because it was myself, and I didn't do that well, so I'm very happy today. What do you think about that, Skin?
Yeah. Well, I had to giggle a little bit.
It was freaking awesome.
It was worth a few
Losing
chuckles.
by 0.2 fantasy points. Also, you know what? I don't feel sorry for him whatsoever.
I
Who
don't.
starts Mike Boone? If you start Mike Boone, you deserve to lose.
I mean, see, I'm not fighting against the starting Mike Boone as
Nope.
much as he already counted it as a win.
He did.
He said 5
That's
and
what
1.
makes it glorious.
So the fact that the
a
fantasy
dub.
gods just smite him and made him deal with that, oh man, that made me chuckle.
And you know what, Skin? I don't blame him. I mean, I was going up against them, and I thought I was going to lose. I mean, heck, Mike Boone's going to put up at least 1.4 fantasy points, but the first quarter, 0 points, hardly saw him. And then the second quarter, right before the game, went into halftime, you saw him a little bit. I think Mac he hit a pass that was going his way. I'm like, yes. And so, 0 points going into halftime. And I was okay. I'm liking this.
Saying there's a chance.
I'm not gonna hold my breath, but it's not bad. And then I don't think he got points until third, fourth quarter. I can't remember.
No. So our producer Blount is on with us. I suppose we don't see him. So, but let's hear from the horse's mouth himself.
Yep. What do you think, Q?
I want to hear you wallow and complain and moan.
Here we go. Yep. Here we go. Last week, he looked like the best running back ever. That's what he's saying right now. He's saying that he looked awesome last week. Here we go, Skin. Gosh dang it. That was awesome. Latavius Murray, I sent a thank you letter to him because it took away Mike Boone's production. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Murray, he looked good. Murray did. Can they hear you, Q? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure if anybody can hear you.
But now they can.
Oh,
I'm smart.
okay.
So yeah, now you can hear me. But I'm not going to go through that whole
Thank
rant
you.
again. Basically, you would think you would get 1 point, 2 points from Mike Boone, but Latavius
Sure.
Murray's a butthole. So
Well, the thing that kind of got me was that how is Melvin Gordon good enough to take carries away from Javonte Williams, but yet isn't good enough to take carries away from Latavius Murray and Mike Boone?
yeah,
Like, what's going on there? Like, that's so strange. Like, if he's not that good, why wasn't Javonte a workhorse? Like, why were you making it a 50-50 split? Then Javonte goes down and Melvin Gordon is benched.
it makes you wonder if there's something else that was kind of going on there that was like off the field, or I don't know. I mean, we know the fumbling issues are there, but that didn't ever stop him from taking carries away from Javonte, like you said. So I don't know.
But it was a good day for myself. Bad day for you, Q. Right? Sorry
Yeah,
for that.
we've
And
established that. Yes.
what is funny, what is humorous about the whole thing? It just adds layers. But when the layers of what is humorous, again, I mentioned Thursday, I have not had good luck with you. I was before this week 1-11. Not good. The last time I beat you was in 2016, Q. 2016.
Yeah.
I had one kid then. And I beat you by 2.4 fantasy points.
Yeah.
2.4. The only time I beat you. 2.4. So you add this, this weekend, I beat you by a total of 2.6 fantasy points. If my math is correct. So, heck, no big deal. All streaks need to be broken, Keel. And finally, I gotcha. Come on, give me some kind of props here.
I mean, neither of us should get props because neither of us honestly deserve to win that game.
Neither of us.
We both scored 116 points.
We'll just continue to add on to me and Q's matchups. Myself, LeBron Kings defeating Philadelphia Queefles, the Toilet Bowl champion, 116.4 to 116.2. Yes, it's awesome. 0.2 fantasy points. Yeah, but absolutely, I'm extremely excited because my team played absolutely like poo-poo. Literally, they did not play good. And when you win, scoring 116.4 fantasy points, yes, sir, may I have another? Absolutely. Again, my team was just not good. I had 0 points for my defense. The Bengals, 2.7. Lockett, he did awful. Curtis Samuel did awful Thursday night. Stephon Diggs helped me out. My running backs were yucky, and Nick Chubb only 7.5, and James Robinson 6 points. My quarterbacks both under 20, but I did it. I won. No big deal. That squad gave me the job. Elliott and Devontae Smith, I will take those. With Elliott 15, Devontae Smith. With 12.9? What do you think, Skin?
Yeah, I mean, you don't get much worse than that. You can't score that little of points and usually win. So, yeah, you got to be happy about that. That bumps your record up to 4-2. Am I looking at that correct?
You are.
Lord Almighty, what is happening? But honestly, I just think the way it went down was even better than just you getting the win. It was very fitting, and I know our whole group message didn't even want to talk about it. Like, we didn't speak a word of it until Keegan started to.
It's like, we gotta talk about this.
Didn't Keegan say? I was reading through them later, because I didn't. Again, during games, I don't look at the messages. But I saw are we gonna talk about this or?
That was good stuff, and the fact that Q already counted it as a win was oh man, made it even more humorous. So
it was funny.
Just had to chuckle. But man, I don't know. I mean, your team obviously is okay. You just your big players didn't really do a whole lot. Diggs is dude's number one wide receiver in fantasy. He's insane, absolutely insane. Taysom Hill was in your starting lineup, that's not good. But,
Right.
One of those things where you've got some pieces, you just got to make the right calls week in and week out, and you did that with Zeke at least and Devontae Smith, so good job there.
Well, I thought about, for the longest time, I thought about starting Deion Jackson, which I should have. It would have, made
You
things
had him in
less. I did. Made things less exciting for yesterday. It would have, but I had him in there for the longest time, and then I changed my mind.
What made you change your mind on that?
I wanted to start both who was in my flex, and Devontae Smith and Zeke. It was between those guys. I thought James Robinson was going to, destroy the Indy defense again like he did before. But I think now with James Robinson, you can't start him. You can't start James Robinson now. What is that, 4 weeks now or 3? I think 3 weeks in a row, just seeing less and less work in the backfield in Jacksonville and seeing Travis Etienne getting more. You can't trust that right now. You got to bench him. And it's tough to do. It's tough to do, and especially now approaching bye week, you need someone like that, but not if he's putting up 5-6 fantasy points.
Yeah, and I think it's a struggle with both owners. Travis Etienne owners, which I'm one. It's time for me to put him in my lineup, but it's not a guarantee every week. He's just so explosive, but he's never going to get that goal line work. So he's going to have to break off a long touchdown to score. Gets a lot of good, work in the receiving game, but neither guy is sexy. But I think it's time to bench Robinson and start Etienne.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with you. And, it's nice seeing Brandon Ayuk do well and explode. And, again, I did all this without the king, Derrick Henry, which I'm happy about. We'll move on to the Q's team. Again, nothing too attractive. I mean, he did have his running backs did well, I think. Both going over their production score. The quarterbacks did not do well, both as well, under 20 points. His two of his wide receivers, Deontay Johnson and DK Metcalf, not doing good. 6.1, 4.4. Chris Godwin, 12.5. Goddard didn't do well. And then we all know about Mr. Mike Boone. If you think, though, who would he have started over Mike Boone?
Claypool.
Well, looking at it now.
Well,
yeah,
no, even before now. Because, he's gotten over 6 targets.
What do you think, Skin?
I probably
would you have started Claypool before Mike Boone?
Probably would have played Mike Boone.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I was honestly debating it because if you look at the stats, Claypool hasn't been good this year, and I spent $5 to get him off the waiver wire. I talked about this last episode I was on. I liked what I've seen from Claypool. He's gotten over 6 targets, I think, in every single game. No, there was one. He only had 2 targets. But
to start him over Mike Boone, back up running back for Denver.
I mean, I just felt Boone was the safer option.
Well, he wasn't.
Yeah, that's clear to me now. He was not. So,
boy, the thing though with Blount's team is once he gets healthy and gets Hopkins back,
which is this week.
Devontae Adams not on a bye,
which is this week. Yeah.
Gets Keenan Allen back. Yikes! I don't want to go up against that team, that's for sure. But DK and Deontay Johnson are massive disappointments. Deontay Johnson hasn't done a ton since Kenny Pickett has been the starter, so.
I would agree that
that's tough, but
I would agree that Deontay has been a disappointment. He hasn't scored a touchdown this year.
DK's been doing well.
DK's been solid, but if you look at Deontay Johnson's targets, 12 targets, 10 targets, 11 targets, 13 targets, 7 targets. I mean, he's getting looked at, and he's making catches too. It's just he hasn't scored. And like you said, the Steelers' quarterback situation just isn't yummy by any means. But then DK's been solid. Hasn't been, amazing. He's wide receiver 22.
What's wild is, that was our only time going up against each other this year. We only battled.
Why is that the case? Why have we only?
It's because our commissioner doesn't know how to switch up the schedules properly.
I played Skin 25 times.
3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah. So.
Well, and another thing with Blount's roster, where's Lamar been the last couple weeks?
Yeah.
Where'd he go, Mr. Predicted him number 1 overall QB, huh?
which he was.
He was. I mean, it was a look
He
at
started
this.
out very high. I mean, right now he's still number 3.
He's still number 3.
Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing right now is basically Lamar's floor. Like, the last couple weeks are literally his floor because he's only passed for 1 touchdown. He's had turnovers.
And then what, week 2 and 3 is the ceiling?
Yeah, basically 40, 45 points is the ceiling, and what you're seeing now is 17, 15, whatever it was last week. I think that's the floor. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not worried about Lamar. Yeah.
Big win, Ruff. Big win.
Thank you. Moving to 4-2, sliding the Queefles to 4-2 as well. We're tied, Q.
We are.
Yeah. Moving on to the next matchup. Skinley, you had a close one.
Well, a little too close for comfort.
A little bit closer in comfort. Only scoring 131.1 fantasy points, but came up with a victory to the Savage Patch Kids in the bottom of the barrel. 109.3. Low scoring week. All the way around. It was low scoring weeks. But Skin, you picked up the dub. Would you have been very upset if you would have lost to the Savage Patch Kids?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a point on Sunday where I thought I had no chance. The ending of the Bills-Chiefs game, Josh Allen tossing that touchdown to Dawson Knox saved me and gave me some hope. I expected Herbert to play better than what he did last night. And Gerald Everett's been solid all year long, so I was sweating it until halftime of that game where I was like, oh boy, Herbert's going to need something big to come back. So yeah, it was a little too close for comfort, but hey, a win's a win. But I need to make some moves with my roster because it's not looking very yummy.
Well, I'm with you. I think with my wide receivers, I definitely need to make some moves. But I think you started in your running back category. Of course, you don't have Jonathan Taylor. All right, you can't trust Travis Etienne right now. In your running back core, you do have Clyde Edwards and J.K. in your flex spots, but you got, Raheem Mostert and Benjamin that you had to start, right? Both of them putting up a combining 11.3, not the best. So, yeah, that hurts you a little bit. Justin Jefferson and Cooper not having, they had mediocre weeks, which is wild because they had 13.7, 13.2, which is still good. But not for them, right? So,
yeah, I mean, neither of them had a touchdown, but I mean, I had 4 running backs going, and
then even
they
Dobbins
scored
and
less
Clyde,
than 20
1.5,
points
3.3
altogether. Yep. Yeah, J.K. Dobbins' knee tightened up, so see ya, bud. It's one of those things where, boy, I'm just looking at this roster up and down, and I don't know where to go. It's like I'm obviously very top heavy. Like I have great keepers, and getting JT back will be big. But man, outside of that, it's looking rough.
Sitting still 4-2, first in the West Division. You're still good, Skin.
Yeah,
I'm coming right behind you though. Here I come.
Yep.
Thanks to Mike Boone. Let's move to the Savage Patch Kids. Joe Burrow had a very good game. 35 fantasy points, carrying really TC's team. No one else did anything really. Breece Hall had a good one, 19.1 fantasy points. I do believe. Over 100 yards. I thought that was his first over 100 yards for Breece Hall in his career, and he did. Again, still every week for Hall has been an improvement. Every week since he's been in the NFL. I mean, if you look at his game log, 6, 7, 8, 17, 18, 20, that's his carries. He's been carrying it more and more yardage every week.
Ooh, you see, we got a trade question on Twitch.
All right, so we have a trade question on Twitch, which I cannot see. What does it say, Q?
So it says from his. Let me see.
I get it. Okay, I see it. Yeah. He has Chase, Cooper, and Olave at wide receiver. Oh, I don't see a trade. I just see.
Well, he's okay. So his question is, it's from let_Meechwork. He says, "Do I trade Jalen Waddle for Breece Hall? He already has Jamar Chase Cooper. I'm guessing that's Amari Cooper and Olave.
Okay, so does he trade Waddle for Brees Hall? Which is kind of perfect because we're talking about Brees Hall. So he trades away Waddle and he gets Brees Hall. His other running backs are Miles Sanders and Damian Harris. What do you think, Skin?
Yeah, that's like a no-brainer.
I think.
Well, I mean, I do think Waddle is going to look better with Tua coming back, but Brees Hall is clearly the workhorse now. They've handed the keys over to Brees. I don't think you would even bat an eye or hesitate for 1 second to trade away Jalen Waddle to get Brees Hall.
I agree. I wouldn't say it's a no-brainer, especially with, Tua coming back and the way Jalen did look. But like you said, I mean, I think it's pretty clear cut at this point. And Ruff was just saying, Brees Hall has been getting better every single week. He's the true workhorse. He's running back 6 on the year. He says this isn't a division trade, an in-division trade. He's 5-1. Yeah, especially with your running back situation too. I love Miles Sanders, don't get me wrong. I'm an Eagles fan, but Damian Harris is not yummy.
No.
I think it's definitely a win-win if you were able to snag up Brees Hall there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Let Me Work is offering this to the Brees Hall owner. It's my guess. If that's the case, heck, maybe if he declines that, maybe throw in Damian Harris, with that.
Yeah.
If he declines the first one. But yeah, I mean, you like I said, like you guys said, you throw in Brees Hall with Chase, Cooper, Olave, Miles Sanders, yes sir.
Yeah.
And he's 5-1. So again, not getting rid of, too much of important pieces, but you're inheriting someone else that will be able to help you out and continue the winning.
I was gonna say normally when you're 5-1, I don't recommend, making a trade just to make a trade, but in this case,
Brees Hall's a different animal.
Yeah, in this case, Brees Hall's definitely worth acquiring.
Yeah, and you have one of the best tight ends in Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's what we think. We say go for it, my man. We say go for it and try to get Mr. Hall, and he will guide you. But again, even without that, I wouldn't be searching for a trade. I mean, Damian Harris, yeah, but again, you're carried by a lot of good players there. So appreciate that, man. Appreciate that trade question. Let's continue.
So back to Brees Hall on TC's team. Yeah, I mean, okay, so for TC, I've been kind of shitting on him all year.
Pooping
on him all year for, just the lack of talent he has on his roster. But, man, he found a couple diamonds in the rough in that draft, and Brees Hall is obviously going to be a keeper. Brian Robinson looks like he's on his way to possibly being a keeper as well.
He had one game, Skin. Easy with that K word.
Yeah, so easy with that.
The only reason I'm saying that with Brian Robinson is because with running backs, it's only about workload. Do you get all those carries? And Washington clearly views him as the guy. The very first game he was back, he took Antonio Gibson's spot. Antonio Gibson never even saw the field.
He looked so bad,
J.D.
though.
McKissick
and Antonio looked better.
But I don't know. If you're going to get that type of a workload, Brian Robinson is at least going to be in the conversation by year's end, in my opinion. But
we got to think about. I mean, he might not be keepers for our teams, but we got to think about what TC will do.
Yeah,
I mean, he doesn't have.
That's what I'm saying for his team. I mean,
yeah,
it's not the worst thing in the world, but I mean, then he's still got T. Higgins, and then he drafted Olave, who is good when he's healthy, but again, that has some time to fade out a little bit. But his team's just bad though, so he just needs to keep gathering picks and look to the future.
Yeah,
absolutely. If I'm TC, I think he needs to do what I did last year, which was when I had all of those draft picks, when I sold my team. Look, I flipped those draft picks. I got DeAndre Swift. I got Devontae Adams. I got Lamar Jackson. I can't even think who my fourth keeper is at the moment, but he needs to get
Mike
players.
Boone.
Shut up. He needs to get players that are, he can't just go into next year with 4 rookie keepers. You know what I'm saying?
Did you just forget Christian McCaffrey?
Oh, Christian McCaffrey. I traded to get him. I made big boy.
What?
I made about 4 big boy trades, and now my team's competing. He can't go into next year keeping 4 of these young rookies. Meachwork did leave another comment there. You see that?
Yeah. Yep. The original offer was Waddle for Kamara.
I would do that too. Do you guys, what do you think? I would do that in a heartbeat. I'm buying Alvin Kamara.
If it's a full PPR league, yeah. Yeah. And if it's redraft,
because his wide receivers are strong as fudge. Right? Chase, Cooper, Olave.
Yeah.
I mean, heck.
I agree. It just makes your team more well balanced. Throw another starter.
Now here's a question though.
Better than Harris.
Would you rather trade Jalen Waddle for Breece Hall or trade Jalen Waddle for Alvin Kamara?
I would rather have Breece Hall.
I would rather have Kamara.
In this season, if it's full PPR, I would probably say Kamara. If it's redraft, if there's any dynasty component at all, and it's half PPR, then probably Breece for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what Kamara is going to look like with Winston coming back. Is the only thing that scares me.
That's why I'm leaning towards Hall. Hall has continued to get better, and so far Kamara's been up and down, especially with the different quarterback situation.
Well, he's been mostly up since he's been back from his injury situation.
With Zach Wilson, they know that they're going to have to hand the ball off 20, 25 times. So Breece Hall has a guaranteed workload. Where with Winston, Kamara did not look that way, though. I don't know. That's a tough one. But either one, I think I would take it. I would trade Waddle for Kamara. I would trade Waddle for Breece Hall as well.
So this guy's actually offering. He's getting this offer.
And he says that's the exact scenario. It's full PPR and keepers.
Oh, boy.
Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like Breece Hall, but I would still do both.
Yeah, I would too. But I think we all prefer Breece Hall in this situation. The age.
Keeper situation. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
That's interesting, though.
Well, that was fun. Fun little question. Keep him sliding with us. That was good. All right. Any more for TC's team?
There's not much more to talk about on that.
Not much more to talk about. His team's not that good. Sliding to 1-5. Let's move on to another 1-5 team. We got 2 of them in the league. The Brownie Batter team falling short to the Magic School Bus, 169.0 to 158.2. Another close one. Another down to the wire one, if you will, kind of. A little bit came down to the kicker in Denver and came up short. But is Connor in trouble?
He's been in trouble. Bud.
I know, but is it time?
It was time last week.
Skin, I know we got Q's opinion. Yeah, we all know.
Yeah.
Give up after week 1. So, Skin, what's your opinion?
Yeah, he's 1-5. It's just if the roster looked different, and he's 1-5, and he's like scored the most points in the league, and he's just happened to be unlucky and be 1-5, I'd see it. But it's time to go. It's time to move some pieces and look to the next year.
Okay. So who does he sell?
Who do you think he sells?
Somebody. Huh?
Who's worth selling?
Tyreek Hill will get a shiny penny. AJ Brown, some will snag.
Anybody who can net a first-round pick is worth selling.
But again, but also
he's got to
think about who he wants to keep.
Yeah,
because that's important. You don't want going TC shoes.
Is Kenneth Walker a keeper?
I
think next year
it's possible.
Yeah,
I don't think that's set in stone just yet.
Well, he looked pretty good.
He's looking pretty
week.
Good.
And Penny they're gonna lose that Penny.
But
outside of that, he has no other keeper candidates. So Saquon, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill.
That's the bad thing about this roster is he doesn't have sell candidates, and because he's got to keep some players. He has to keep 4 people. So Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown. I guess you could sell Kyle Pitts. Maybe someone wants to buy low and hope that his production starts to go up a little bit. But if you're Connor, you have to keep 4 people, and then who else are you going to sell? Nobody else on this team is worth buying, in my opinion. So I just think he's in a rough spot.
I see what you're saying there. It's a tough one, and it is tough for him too because he was the second highest scorer this week and still lost. So that's especially for a win that he needed. I feel his pain on that one.
We do have another question there from I'm a Boss. He's back. We've seen him in a previous episode.
Boss. He has Hurts on a bye. Should he start? Ooh, good one. Tua or Geno? Geno Smith. Skin. Should he start Tua or Geno Smith?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Who's Seattle playing next week?
Good question, Skin. Let's look into that. Seattle.
I'm trying to pull it up too. They're playing the Chargers.
Playing the Chargers.
Yeah.
And Tua is playing. Who's Miami playing?
Can you not do any research?
No, I can't. I'm on my phone here, and I don't have my laptop because I was given 30 minutes notice. So
King's disease.
That's what happens when you win a championship. They come back and they're just not prepared.
I mean, you can tell by my roster. Oh boy, that draft was bad.
Are you looking up, Q?
Yeah, hold on. Producer. Who are we looking up? Tua.
Miami. Who's Tua going up against? We have Geno going up against the Chargers.
Tua is going up against the Jets. Wait, no, sorry. Week 7, right? Pittsburgh?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's week 7.
Yeah, okay. Pittsburgh. So, man.
That was tough. I think
it is a tough one.
I think I would go Geno.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I think Geno. Again with the Steelers, but Tua. We shouldn't be like, well, he still kind of scares me, but you just never know until you see him get some good games in. What do you think, Skin?
Yeah, you don't really know. I mean, personally, I think I would lean towards Tua only because I like Geno. I like the run he's been on. I just don't feel like it's sustainable, and I don't feel like it's necessarily real. I feel like it's one of those flashes where, he does well for a handful of weeks, and then he comes back to what we've always known Geno to be.
So that's what he did. I mean, so last week, he did not have a good week. 12 fantasy points. Not good. No touchdowns. 3 weeks before that, he had 7 touchdowns in 3 games.
Yeah.
20, 33, 26 fantasy points. He was on fire.
I just feel like the Dolphins, with Tua coming back after those head injuries, are going to really be excited for him. Going to be a lot of energy in that locker room, and especially that receiver room. I think it's really close. I think you're okay either way, but I personally am leaning a little bit towards Tua.
So you said Tua, Skin. Q, you said Geno.
It's tough, man. It really is. I think the Pittsburgh secondary, if I'm not mistaken, they, especially this past week, they were decimated with some injuries, and I don't know how that's gonna shake out next week.
Yeah. I think Minka is out, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And again, like I said, I don't know how that's gonna, if he'll still be out or how that's gonna work next week. But I think the better matchup is there for Tua. But again, with the injuries and stuff, it's just, and I don't think you should necessarily make your decisions based off injuries. You shouldn't be scared to, if you got a stud and he's healthy and he's playing, you start him. So
I agree, but I don't know.
But Geno he's been a stud is the thing. Geno has been a stud. He's QB6 on the year in our league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. I think I'm playing Geno. I think it's tough.
Me too.
Yeah.
So
2
very
Genos
close,
and 2,
tough
but very
decision.
close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm a boss. We will not throw tomatoes at you if you come back and say, "Hey, I started this guy," because it's definitely very close.
I think the floor.
Hang on, Skin. Hang on. We got Noah James, 98. How about those Volunteers of Knoxville beating And Crimson tied Alabama for the first time in 15 years. It looked exciting to be there.
Yeah.
It looked fun. Heck,
that wide receiver boy. He's still catching touchdowns.
Yeah, heck, man.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns, wasn't it?
Yeah.
5 catches, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was insane. That was a crazy game.
Good for Tennessee. Good for Tennessee. Yep, they're having a heck of a year, doing good. What a great turnout at that stadium. I had a couple buddies that went there, and had a good time, and it looked awesome.
That's like college football environment heaven right there.
I mean, you can't get much better than that.
You cannot get any
I mean, like, come on. An SEC game, both undefeated. It was there. Trace Jackson Davis was there, Skin.
Oh.
See his brother.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We got another question. They're firing at us, so we got another one firing. We got Tom Brady, I'm assuming, and DeAndre Hopkins for Lamar. He has Kenneth Walker. No, he said, I'll have Kenneth Walker or Lockett or Cooks to replace Hop in the flex spot, Skin. Okay. So Tom Brady and DeAndre Hopkins
for Lamar. I'll have Kenneth Walker and Lockett or Cooks.
If Tom Brady's a starting quarterback, I just think that's too big of an upgrade right there to not want to do that. It's just hard with Hopkins. You don't know what you're going to get with that Arizona team. But if you have guys that you feel comfortable to replace what you're expecting in Hopkins, that's a massive upgrade. Lamar from Tom Brady. Brady just does not quite have it this year.
Yeah, I'm making that trade 100%. I mean,
hang on tight, Mr. Discount. We'll get your question in a second.
You guys know my love for Lamar Jackson. I had him ranked number 1 as my number 1 quarterback this year. I made a trade to go out and get him to be one of my keepers. He's had a couple rough weeks, so right now you might be able to buy him on the lower than what you normally would be able to get him. And I would do that, Tom and D-Hop for Lamar. I mean, it also depends kind of on your scoring situation, because D-Hop, he might walk into a very valuable role right out of the gates right here. So
yeah, if it's full PPR with Marquise Brown going down.
Exactly.
I know they just traded for Robbie Anderson, but man,
Robbie Anderson shouldn't be
in consideration, right?
No, but you shouldn't be concerned.
Yeah,
about Robbie Anderson.
He says his starting wide receivers are Chase, Justin Jefferson, so he doesn't need the wide receiver power, and it is PPR.
Well, then there you go.
I think I'm definitely making that then for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a good question, though.
Yep. That will definitely backfire 13. That will make your team stronger.
It's got to be hard with
Hopkins.
Hopkins.
You got Jamar Chase, man.
When you've had Hopkins sitting on your bench the entire time too, it's got to be hard to not wait it out fully.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where if you can upgrade that much at one position, you might as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good question.
Okay, moving on to the next question, Mr. I think it's Stephen, Mr. Discount. Got to pick 2, Skin. Okay, 2 non-PPR players: Higgins, Olave, and Hopkins. Start 2.
Yeah, we just talked about him, but if it's not non-PPR, Hopkins has got to have the highest touchdown upside, or you would think, right? So Hopkins, Olave, and who was the first one?
T. Higgins.
I would probably say T. Higgins and Hopkins would be my go-to. I also don't know the health of Olave, and I know Higgins' ankle has been bothering him, but I think he's been playing the whole time. So I would say Higgins and Hopkins.
And also, I mean, to consider Michael Thomas, he's been missing some games. If I guess if he's out again, it'll make the decision a little bit harder.
That would make the decision harder.
But I'm with you. I think I would do Higgins and Hopkins.
I'm with you too, and to me, it's not even hard. I don't obviously Olave's been really good, so I mean it's kind of hard. But did you just see what we all saw? What Joe Burrow just did. The Bengals' offense is looking like it's clicking. T. Higgins is gonna start. I think putting up some really good numbers. And then obviously Hopkins. If Hopkins is healthy, there's no way you're benching him. If he's on the field playing, not suspended, whatever, you're playing him.
Yeah, and then it only helped with helped his value with Marquise
exactly.
Brown going down.
Yeah, so I think we're all on the same page.
His show again. Yep. I mean, never really lost it, but yeah. Yep. So Hopkins and Higgins, what we're going with.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Thanks for the question. Hey, great questions. What is it? Question day?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Keep them firing. We got any on YouTube? Nothing on YouTube. We got YouTube. We got Twitch. And we, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram, all that fun stuff. Keep them coming. Appreciate it. Let's continue to tackle our teams. Let's go with the Magic Skull Bus having a good week, 169 points. Kyler Murray, he squeezed in Trevor Lawrence to replace his Dak Prescott situation. So Dak Prescott. Trevor Lawrence did well, 25.9. Aaron Jones, is he having an issue? Is he seeing an issue with Aaron Jones? Not a top 10 running back right now. Back-to-back weeks under 10 points. The last 4 weeks, he's only scored over 10 points one time. Is this an issue? Skin. Hasn't scored a touchdown since week 2.
I mean, obviously, as a keeper, yeah, it's a little bit of an issue, and that Green Bay offense is just abysmal. So, yeah, it's not encouraging, and A.J. Dillon eats into that workload a little bit. It's just he's very boomer bust, but the problem is his ceiling is a 4-touchdown game. Mm-hmm. You just wish he had a higher floor, but his floor is so low as well that it makes things tough. But again, he's a guy that you got to start in your lineup and be
you got to start confident,
right? Yeah, you got to start him every week.
Stevenson having another good week for New England. I'm sorry, what was that?
I think his phone might have died. He did warn us that his phone. Yeah, I think he's finally gone.
Oh, he said, "See you, boys."
Yeah, he said.
Well, that was his exit.
He knew it was happening. So, yep, all right, we did lose Jake.
We still got you on though, Q. Right?
Yeah,
everybody can hear you.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, so we'll just wrap this up with we got another matchup, but keep the questions firing. We're still smart without skin, absolutely. Let's with Stevenson, dude. Stevenson is doing very well.
Yes.
He as of right now, it feels like you should be in the top 10, but he's sitting peacefully as 11th.
11
running back as of right now. He has scored over 10 points 4 weeks in a row now, getting heavily involved in the offense. Ran the ball 19 times last week against Cleveland. Saw the end zone twice. So Stevenson doing very well. What do you think, Q?
Yeah, I mean, Stevenson, we kind of wondered what was going to happen, before the season started with the Patriots running backs. Is it Damian Harris? Is he the guy you want? Is it Stevenson? Mm-hmm. Is it, I think there was another name in there too, but yeah, Stevenson's turning out to be the guy.
That's normal for New England Patriots.
It is, exactly. And I think that's why so many of us were hesitant. I don't even remember when Ramondre Stevenson got drafted in our draft, but I know it was pretty late, I'm pretty sure. I think Damian Harris went before him. But yeah, man, running back 11, and he looks like a must start every single week as of right now.
Absolutely. His wide receivers, Jamar Chase having a good week. Marquise Brown with an injury there. That's a big blow for Keegan's team. Gabe Davis went out. He had a very long touchdown run. Was beautiful, 14.9. Mark Andrews coming back, 20 fantasy points. Still the second best tight end as of right now, position ranked. Back-to-back great weeks for him. For Mark Andrews, Dalvin Cook having a good week. Jeff Wilson did not have a good week. He pulled the old Boone. We
need to quit with the Mike Boone references.
Yeah, pretty funny, huh?
It hurts. But yeah, Jeff Wilson obviously not what you want to see there. Mark Andrews, like you said, it's just insane. Somebody in one of the questions we had too was saying they had Mark Andrews. It's just, if you have Mark Andrews as your tight end, it literally is a cheat code. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know why he started Jeff Wilson, to be completely honest. I mean, I know he's running back 20, so it's not a terrible flex play.
He started Jeff Wilson over Waddle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And again, I'm sure the reasoning was is because of the quarterback situation.
Yeah. But I don't know. To me, I mean, even when there's a bad quarterback situation, it's not the best looking. I feel like you just have to start your best players. I mean, I don't know, man. It's tough. I'm not going to judge him. But
what does he do with DJ Moore?
Well, you know my stance on DJ Moore. I do not like.
He hasn't been, dude. DJ Moore has been non-existent.
I don't like.
Been doing
DJ
good.
Moore. Not as a
1 touchdown. That was back in week 2.
Yeah. It's not as a player. Obviously, he's a good player. But fantasy-wise, I've just never. I don't know. I mean, I know he's had 1,000-yard seasons. I get that, and everyone like talks that up. But I just don't know. I've never seen like. Maybe it's because I've never had him on my team. I don't know what the hype is about DJ Moore. This year, again, he's not doing good, and it just kind of proves my hate for him right. So.
All right, moving the Magic School Bus to 3-3. Brownie Batter team 1-5. Let's move on. I do believe this is the last matchup, right, Q? Yes, it is. Last matchup. Scotty Benji's team, the best record in FLOG currently. Good for him. 5-1. I'm sure that he is feeling pretty good about himself. Normally, when Scott gets to this high record, this is when he slides down the mountain. I think he did that big time 2 years ago. Remember that, Q?
Speaking of Scotty,
he was on top. He bragged about it a little bit, and then he slid down. But this is what Scotty does. He likes bragging about a mid-season record, and then he chokes the old chick. But
Scotty just left you a message on Twitch.
Oh boy.
He wants you to say
the name. Say the Scotty Benzine team, the Scotty B team.
Maybe you should.
It should be Hail to the Chief.
Hail to the Chief.
What a lost opportunity.
I know. That's
clever. Really was. But, yeah, it's definitely clever, more clever than this freaking name. Goodness McFudge. I'm not saying it, Scott. We got the Terry's Terrorist team dropping to 2-4. What a tough break for Terry's Terrorist. Not a good week though. Not a good week, Q. Yeah. When you continue to start Matthew Stafford. I mean, it's like the Mike Boone situation. If you put Mike Boone in, you don't expect to win. When you put in Matthew Stafford, don't expect to win. Plain and simple. You can't be confident putting Matthew Stafford in your lineup, smile, and feel like you're going to win. No.
Well,
take Matthew Stafford out of your lineup until you see something positive. Nothing is coming out of Matthew Stafford right now. Nothing. Q.
First off, don't compare Matthew Stafford to Mike Boone. Quit talking about Mike Boone, for the love of God.
Come on, man.
We're past the Mike Boone situation, okay?
Are we?
We're trying to be. Some of us are. But I mean, who else what are you gonna do if you're Marcus? Like, are you gonna go start Matt? Are you gonna start Matt Ryan?
Dude, he missed an opportunity. Trevor Lawrence was sitting peacefully on the waiver wire for the longest time. Boom, right there.
I guess Marcus Mariota's there. He had a pretty good week last week. Jared Goff has played pretty well this year.
Matt Ryan had a very good week last week.
Matt Ryan, I know. So you would start Matt Ryan right now over Stafford?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If it's not the yummiest situation, but right now, Matthew Stafford versus a lot of people, the other person.
Yeah.
I have like zero confidence right now in starting Matthew Stafford. Keep it on your lineup? Sure. Starting him? Especially, a 2-quarterback league, I believe, don't get me wrong, it's different.
Yeah.
But, you still have other opportunities to start someone else that could put up better points. 12.7 again for Matthew Stafford.
Right. I see what you're saying. Obviously, Stafford has not been good. His best game, at least in our league, he had 21.8 points. That was back in week 2. Since then, week 6, what he just did was his best game, and that was 12.7. So, obviously not good. But again, the Rams just won the Super Bowl. We know that they can be a high-powered offense. We know that Matthew Stafford and Cooper
and that's
Kupp,
why you're giving him respect and you're not dropping him.
Well, that's the thing, though.
But you want to win. You want to win. So, you respect what he did last year, yes. So that's why I'm putting you on my bench. I'm not starting you, but I want to win this year. Sorry, Matthew.
Yeah.
So I'm benching you until I see something positive.
Yeah, no one can blame you.
No
one can blame you.
Start Matthew Stafford. Am I crazy?
You're not crazy. No, we can't blame you. But hey, at least this coming week you don't have to worry about it. Stafford's on a bye, so
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, heck. His running backs. I mean, they did decent. Fournette 19.1. Joe Mixon 14.8. Again, I feel like, Fournette had a good week, but Joe Mixon is just right there. Position ranked 14th right now. Not having the best year he did last year, but that's 3 weeks in a row. He's at over 10 points, so they're not like, I got to trade him. He's not doing good, but Joe Mixon right now has only got 1 touchdown, which is out of the ordinary. So you would like to see more production and more work for Joe Mixon, more touchdowns coming in. Deebo Samuel, Mike Evans, Drake London. Mike Evans, Drake London did not do well. 6.2, 5.5. Deebo had a decent game. Still under production score, though. Travis Kelce carrying him. Melvin Gordon did yucky. Terry McLaurin did yucky. So really, he did not have, not a lot of guys going off for him.
Right.
Fournette did the best.
Fournette definitely, did the best. And again, with Mixon, I'm not concerned. You would like to see a little bit more production, but as we talked about before with T. Higgins and like Burrow, the Bengals are looking good. They're finally looks like starting to really click kind of the way they started to at the end of last year. I think better days are ahead for Joe Mixon.
And you got to start him.
You got to start him, and he might honestly be a kind of a buy low candidate for people out there. Like, he hasn't been performing too well this year. You might be able to get him for cheaper than what you normally would. I would be all in on trying to go out and buy Joe Mixon. But yeah, Deebo, solid game, doesn't have a touchdown. Other than that, Mike Evans, the whole Buccaneers team, just I don't know what's going on there. The offense did not look good. London didn't do much. Travis Kelce as per usual, and then Marcus started Melvin Gordon. I did not notice that. So the Broncos running backs, Melvin Gordon got you 0.8, Mike Boone got you 0.9. Evidently, it's Latavius Murray is the guy.
There he is.
You'll want to have. So.
Murray.
Yeah, on his bench.
Started Latavius Murray.
We talked about this last week on the episode. Was Zach Ertz on Marcus's bench, tight end. I think you could get some value out of him. If Marcus needs to try and trade him and get a draft pick, he's tight end 4 on the year. There's no point in just leaving him sit on your bench.
Consistency.
Yeah, it's been good.
It's
and now
very good.
Marquise Brown going down. Zach Ertz is going to be, arguably even more involved. I just think he needs to make a move and
back-to-back weeks with 10 targets.
Yeah.
You said Marquez needs to make a move?
Yeah, he needs to be shopping Zach Ertz and try and collect a draft pick for next year. But these are the moves he doesn't make, and that's why his team is always kind of stuck in this little, loop of mediocrity. His team's not bad, but it's not really great. And I think these are the types of moves, you got to always be churning out the back end of your roster, making moves where you can. Hey, there's some value here. I'm going to go make a trade. I'm going to flip this guy, get a draft pick. That's going to make my team stronger for next year. Because what's the point of leaving this guy on your bench all year? You're going to play him 1 week when you have a bye?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
but heck, what's new with Marcus Terry? What's new? Scotty Benzi's team. Mm-hmm. He only had one guy besides the kicker and the defense. One guy scoring under 10 points.
Right.
Pretty consistent. Pretty good.
Consistent across the board.
He even didn't put up big numbers, 156. But Cortland Sutton, the only one, 2.4. Everybody else, you got a couple guys under their production score. CeeDee Lamb, Patrick Mahomes, I guess, if you want to count him. He started Jimmy G, gave him 18.9. So a pretty solid week for Scotty Benzine's team. What do you think? What do you think, Q?
Yeah, like you said, consistent all around. You want to see. Well, no, his quarterbacks did pretty well. Even Jimmy Garoppolo, he did have 2 interceptions, but still 18.9. CeeDee Lamb, no touchdown, but again, the targets are there. The catches and yards. He looks good. And Darrell Henderson, that's gonna be a big pickup, I think, for Scott. Time out. What is happening with Cam Akers? So why all of a sudden is he what is happening?
It's gotta be inside info. Inside info with the program and just not a good fit. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's just a player don't in some situations don't like the coach or the running back coach or just doesn't function correct. Doesn't like the offense or something. So
Yeah.
they said it's just time to part ways and have them start fresh. That's what one of the reports
Yeah, that's what I
said.
saw too.
And have them start fresh. And when you see that, it's just like there might be some kind of heads getting butt there or heads getting butt. Is that a thing? Butting heads somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I think that might be the situation there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I was so confused because it's like I had Darrell Henderson. I picked him up at the start of the year. I was happy about it, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, Cam Akers is back to being the guy, and then it's all of a sudden, Cam Akers is on his way out of town. Like, huh?
Yeah, and then you dropped Darrell. I picked him up. I dropped him, and that's why I didn't like that Scotty got him right away. We should go back to what we had it before, where he had to cough money up for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we had at one point. I think we only had it for 1 year. Because we have the money waiver wire.
Yeah, because otherwise, like if you're busy and you don't have the chance to, I totally agree. But again,
I was in a meeting when this happened. I believe I was. I was like busy.
So was I.
And I wasn't fast enough.
And
so I think we have to go back. And I think that situation was because Scotty didn't want to reset something every week or something he had to do that he didn't want to do.
Well, that's his commissioner powers. I mean, he's going to do what benefits him.
But, Darrell Henderson could end up being a keeper, possibly. We don't know. We'll see. And this could be good for Cam Akers. They had they threw out some teams that could possibly be interested in snagging up Cam Akers, and there were some, some good fits there. So this could be good for him again. New scenery, new start, fresh start. Yeah. Could be good for him. So don't drop Cam Akers just yet. Don't drop him. Gotta wait to see where he goes and see what he does.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely agree.
Okay. Michael Pittman, Alan Lazard doing pretty well. And Austin Eckler doing well. Again, next week he'll have Josh Jacobs. He'll have Dameon Pierce back. And he benched his keeper, Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the right move? Again, he won. And it looks like, heck, it was a good move.
Well,
a weird move.
He could have benched
blame
Cortland
him, but
Sutton.
it's weird that he has to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just Harris, man.
To me, I would have benched Cortland Sutton. I get it in retrospect. Everything, I don't want to live in hindsight here, but Cortland Sutton, to me, I've been on the show many times. I'm not a big fan of Cortland Sutton. I'm not a big fan of any of the Broncos pass catchers. So that would have been the guy I chose to bench. But I understand why he benched Najee. Najee has not been good. Even with the touchdown, he still only gave you 11.9. So,
which was his highest this year.
Yeah. But he's got Amari Cooper on the bench too, who I know he did put in one time, and it didn't go well. But, yeah, I mean, Scott's got a good team. He's got depth, and it's just he's got some tough decisions to make each week. So he's got to hope that he makes the right ones.
Absolutely. And he's got a very good squad. But again, he's gotten lucky a couple of weeks, I believe. But this week, good solid week for CD's nuts there. Good week there for Scotty. There you go, Scotty. I did it. Okay, I did it. Yep. He's probably gone. Hopefully he's gone. All right, you got any last words or comments, Q?
No, I don't, Scott. No. Obviously it was a rough one for me. Losing by 0.2 because of freaking Mike Boone. Could not score. I needed 1.2 from him. And he gave me 0.9 or whatever. Like, oh, come on, man. So.
Oh, it's so funny.
It's and the worst part was I did not want to watch that game. I do not want to watch the Broncos. I do not want to watch a single Broncos game for the rest of the year. But I had to watch that game just to hope that Mike Boone was going to get 3 yards or whatever it was I needed. watched every single play hoping Boone was going to be out there. And just never happened. Just.
Boone. Should we take your team name to the Philadelphia Boonefuls?
Ha ha! Yeah, there you go. Finally, the Crows at a right time.
Oh yes, Mike Boone. All right. Well, hey everybody, appreciate your questions today. They were very. Had our brains thinking, had our brains moving. Absolutely love it. Again, you can follow us on. What's that?
I said, yeah, good questions today.
Yeah, follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. We got Twitter. We got a website where, we're a big deal, I guess, kind of a little bit. Just talking about some fantasy football. No big deal. Q, thank you so much for joining. Skin, thank you so much for joining. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. You have listened to the FLOGcast Network. Everybody stay safe.